Wait until it kicks in. VTEC. Turbo. Hey! Shit! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Today, we'll be talking about the Nier of PGR, Noon, the newest uniframe arriving in the next update, Surviving Glimmer. And if you don't want to miss future PGR guides and videos, don't forget to subscribe. I also stream on my Twitch at twitch.tv/SpiderTB, and if I make any corrections or forget to mention something, it'll be in the pinned comment down below. Alright, let's shift gears and get into this.
こちら 2B 問題ない
Noon Arca is a base S-rank uniframe that deals lightning damage and features fast, stylish moves, all while rocking a fanny pack. And in this video, I'll quickly cover his skills, passives, ascensions, weapon, playstyle, resonance, and my pull and build recommendations. And as usual, I'll leave timestamps if you want to jump to a specific topic. Starting with this kit, Noon quickly basic attacks with this dual blade, performing a 5-hit attack string, dealing physical damage. His QTE dive bombs from the air, dealing lightning damage to a target. For his red orb, Noon performs a spinning slash through his target, dealing physical damage. And if it's a 3 orb or matrix ping, this attack does a follow-up 2-hit slash and deals lightning damage instead. His blue orb detonates the ground in front of him, dealing physical damage, and if it's a 3 orb or matrix ping, this attack does a follow-up ground slam and deals lightning damage instead. And his yellow orb fires a magnetic field that pulls in enemies, dealing physical damage, and if it's a 3 orb or matrix ping, this attack does a follow-up 2-hit slash and deals lightning damage instead. For the core passive, I'll go over how the mechanic works first, and then I'll talk about how to execute it. Starting with how it works, after using a 3 orb or matrix ping, following it with repeated basic attacks will charge the blade, indicated by the main gauge. After you stop attacking, Noon will release his core passive attack, and the charge level will be stored in the bottom gauge. When charging again, if you charge more than the previous level, it will add a gear stack, which is indicated by the dot at the top of the gauge. The core passive attack deals lightning damage based on the amount of gear stacks he has, and the amount of basic attacks he used to charge it. And at the max gear stack of 3, charging the gauge past the previous charge level will deal an empowered core passive attack, dealing 50% more damage and resetting the gear stacks back to 0. So basically, here's how to execute it. 3 orb or matrix ping and tap the basic attack for the first gear stack, 3 orb or matrix ping and spam basic attack to charge more than the existing bottom gauge to get to the level 2 gear stack, do the same for the third gear stack, but you can build it up to max charge here, and finally, at max gear stacks, 3 orb or matrix ping and charge more than the existing bottom gauge to consume all gears and do the empowered core passive attack. And for his ultimate, Noon quickly slides into your DMs before unleashing an ultimate strike, dealing big lightning damage and an AoE. And note that the ultimate damage has nothing to do with the core passive stacks, it's just a standalone attack. And here's the animations for his execution and speed evasion attacks. Like all uniframes, you want to level and max his execution attack first, followed by the speed evasion attack second, and the rest are optional. As for the leader passive, the team gets increased lightning damage and uniframes get increased attack. As for his ascensions, at S5 he gets a movement speed increase after dodging, which is useless. His double S gives him a gear stack on swap-in, and this accelerates his gear stacking quite a bit. Double S3 gives a 3 orb ping on swap-in as well, again further accelerating the gear stacking process. At Triple S, it automatically sources orbs into 3 orb pings on swap-in, and each gear stack does more lightning damage, stacking up to 3 times, and overall is a nice quality of life and damage increase. Triple S3 increases the 3 ping damage, Triple S6 increases the ult damage, and Triple S Plus increases the core passive damage. S rank is enough investment to use him properly, but you can consider double S'ing him through the guild shop to speed up his rotations quite a bit and make it a bit more optimal to play. And spenders can aim for a Triple S if you want him to do more damage along with some nice quality of life. As for his weapon selection, his 5-star weapon is the minimum requirement damage-wise, but it's enough for most players since his 6-star signature weapon mainly adds some damage and a bit of ult energy recovery, therefore making it not essential in order for him to function properly. His 6-star weapon resonance priority go Limit Break into Signal Overload and Matrix Burst. As for some playstyle tips, when charging his core passive, there's a fine balance between charging more for the increased damage and not overcharging to ruin your gear stacks. Here's an example. If you charge the first gear stack to full charge, you cannot get another gear stack. So in this situation, in order to get the second gear stack, you need to first burn a 3 orb or matrix ping and charge less than the max to reset the existing gauge, and then use another 3 orb or matrix ping to charge more than that new gauge to get the second gear stack. So charge responsibly, kids, don't overdo it for the first and second gear, otherwise you'll end up wasting 3 orb or matrix pings. Also note that the gear stacks don't go away when swapped off field, so you can swap out and the gear level will be the same when you swap back in. Plus, if you have double S, swapping back in will give you an additional gear stack since you cannot charge its blade after the swap and attack. His swap and attack doesn't really count as a 3 orb ping like other units. And because of this, you can set him as a starter since he doesn't really benefit from swap and attacks. Overall, Noan is very dependent on 3 orb and matrix pings for the gear stacks, but like Haikama, you can swap out other uniframes you need to cover the orb downtime. And finally, his memory set will make you semi-invincible during the charge as long as you have dodge gauge, so don't need to worry about being punished for charging. And before I forget, Resonate plus 15 attack on the top slot and core passive on the bottom slot. Hypertune is not really necessary for uniframes. So, should you pull or build him? Well, unless you really like him, for most players he's going to be a skip since he doesn't really add too much to the uniframe roster other than a new playstyle, although it is pretty fun. And for most players, especially free to play and newer players, black cards should be saved for the upcoming flood of debut new generation Omniframes. That being said, Noan doesn't require a signature weapon, and like all uniframes, will cost 2500 black cards at 100% rate up for the patch duration and 80% permanently after. Also, for those wondering, he's not much of a Bianca Veritas alternative at SSS compared to Selena Tempest due to his lack of AoE. And if there's any updates or corrections, I'll leave in a pinned comment down below, as usual. If you have any questions, drop in the comments or ask our community Discord at discord.io/AutonaUtomata, and I'll try to respond if I'm not busy. Subscribe to Nome's featured PGR guides and videos, and if you found this video informative, drop a like, a dislike if you didn't. I stream sometimes on my Twitch at twitch.tv/SpiderToBe, so drop a follow and see when I go live. And yeah, I hope the explanation mostly made sense, and whether you go for Noan or not, I hope you have fun revving that blade, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching, peace out.